Hello friends, welcome to another module of Principles of Management. Unit 12, Conflict Management. This module will help us to understand different levels in the conflict process, conflict management approach, and the negotiation. What do you understand by the conflict? Okay. In the earlier unit, you must have studied about the group and the teams. You may also be able to recall the instances from every day-to-day life when there are various difficulties while working in a group. Whenever the individual are working in organization or in the day-to-day interaction with others, many times you come across a conflict. The present unit will talk about the conflict and different conflict management strategies. Right? So let me ask you, how does the conflict occurs? Conflict occurs whenever there is a disagreement between social situation over the particular issue. Right? So conflict is a process that begins when one party perceives that another party has negatively affected or is about to negatively affect something that the first party cares about. Now the conflicts can be of two types. Conflict can be either constructive or deconstructive. When a constructive conflict prevents stagnation, stimulation, creativity, and allows tension to be released. However, the deconstruction or deconstructive conflict will always have a negative effect on the organization. Let's understand what are the outcome of conflict now. See, is it necessary that all the conflict which arise in the organization are bad? The answer is no. All conflicts are not the bad. Some type of conflict which encourages new solution to the problem and also enhances the creativity in the organization. And in such a case, what manager will do? Manager will want to encourage the conflict. So the functional conflicts are the conflict that support the goal of the group. There are also conflicts that hinder group performance. These are dysfunctional or deconstructive forms of conflict. Therefore, every manager should stimulate functional conflict and prevent to resolve non-dysfunctional conflict. Right? So the conflicts are of two type outcomes. That is, it can be a positive outcome or it can be a negative outcome. So now let me tell you what are the positive consequences of the conflict. For example, can you share something? Okay, any conflict or the consequences that leads to new ideas or stimulates a creativity or it motivates changes, it promotes organizational vitality, serves as a safety. These are all positive consequences. Can you share some negative consequences of conflict? Diverts energy from work, threatens psychologically, right? Waste resources, create a negative climate, break down group cohesiveness, and etc. Right? So we'll understand now what are the functional conflict and dysfunctional conflict. Functional conflict are also called as constructive conflict that support to the goal of the group and improves its performance. Conflict that hinder group performance are dysfunctional or deconstructive form of conflict. Now we will understand what are the different levels of conflict. Where does this conflict arises? It can arise in your personal life, in your personal home. It can happen in the workplace. However, we are more concerned about the conflict in the workplace over here. So at a workplace, people may encounter conflict at the interpersonal level, the interpersonal group, the intergroup level, or interorganizational level. So let us understand first, that is, what is interpersonal conflict? Any conflict that affects behavior in organization involves individual alone is called as interpersonal conflict. And these are further divided three types. First is approach. Second is avoidance. So either approach conflict occurs when a person must choose between two positive and equal attractive alternative. And second is avoidance. The avoidance conflict occurs when the person must choose between two negative and equal unattractive alternatives. Right? So as we were discussing, intrapersonal conflict, that is nothing but a intra-individual conflict. I can say intra-individual or interpersonal conflict. So intrapersonal conflict, this refers to the conflict within individual about the work activity to perform. An individual may experience interrole conflict. So under the interpersonal conflict, a person which is involved in interrole conflict. What is interrole? It occurs when the person experiences conflict among the multiple role. He has to perform multiple role and there is a conflict among itself in the role. Then there is another conflict, that is intra-role conflict. When I say intra-role, is conflict with a single role. It arises when a person receives conflicting message from the role sender. Different managers, the manager sends a different messages. So it creates an intra-role conflict. And then it is a person role conflict. This occurs when individual in a particular role is expected to perform behavior that clashes with his her own value. अगर कोई ऐसे आपके रोल है जो एक्सपेक्ट करता है आपके अपने वैल्यूज़ को अपने आप के एथिक्स के साथ समझौता कर लेना, इस तरह के जब कभी संभावना या ऐसी सिचुएशन जब आ जाती है, हम उसे कहते हैं पर्सनल रोल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट. Now we will go to another type, that is inter-individual conflict. What do you mean by inter-individual conflict? When two individuals disagrees about the issue, action or goals where the joint outcomes becomes important, there is an inter-individual conflict. जब कोई दो व्यक्ति आपस में डिसएग्री करते हैं एक गोल के ऊपर, ये इंटर इंडिविजुअल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट होती है. So to manage interpersonal conflict, it is helpful to understand power network in the organization, defense mechanism exhibited by the individual, and way of coping the difficult people. Now, this will further break down into three parts, that is individual group conflict. हर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में दो अहम सिचुएशन होती है जहां पर एक इंडिविजुअल अपने आप को किसी ग्रुप के साथ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट में पाता है, और एक ऐसी सिचुएशन होती है जहां पर वो अपने आप को एक ग्रुप के साथ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट के पोजीशन पे पाता है. When a person interact individually with a group, it's a individual group conflict. When I say intergroup conflict, this involves the conflict between group of people irrespective of the size of group. So that is intergroup. तो group के बीच में conflict है. और when I'm talking organization level conflict, this conflict can also exist between organization. The amount of conflict may depends upon the extent to the organization create uncertain condition for competition. So inter-individual competition की बात करें तो individual group या intergroup या organization के अंदर हो सकती है. So these are the different level of conflict what we discussed. We'll move further and we'll discuss the sources of organizational conflict. Now, when the third thing we discuss organizational level conflict, now we need to understand ये organization के अंदर conflict आती है तो इसके source क्या होते हैं, ऐसा क्यों होता है. सबसे पहला है line and staff competition. When I say line and staff organization, it means that the growth of highly specialized, creative, well-educated staff poses unique problem for line manager. Faced with the growing dependence of the staff, line manager must adjust to the reduction in the organization power and prestige. Conflict in most organizations persists between line and staff because it is virtually impossible to define the responsibility and authority relationship between two. लाइन एंड स्टाफ मैनेजर के बीच में, बिटवीन ये दोनों के बीच में रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी और अथॉरिटी को डिफाइन कर पाना अपने आप में बहुत मुश्किल काम होता है. और इसीलिए वन ऑफ द सोर्स ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट इज लाइन एंड स्टाफ कॉम्पिटिशन. ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल इंडिविजुअल डिसएग्रीमेंट, ये वो पर्सपेक्टिव है जहाँ पर एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का एग्रीमेंट और इंडिविजुअल का दोनों की सहमति नहीं होती. ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कुछ और चाहता है और इंडिविजुअल जो आदमी व्यक्ति है वो कुछ और चाहता है. जब दोनों में डिसएग्रीमेंट होती है ये कॉन्फ्लिक्ट अराइज होती है. ओवरलैपिंग रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, कुछ ऐसे कार्य होते हैं जैसे प्रोडक्शन के अंदर कुछ चीज़ मशीन अगर ब्रेक डाउन हो जाती है और वो प्रोडक्शन मैनेजर जिम्मेदार हो जाता है जबकि वो मेंटेनेंस डिपार्टमेंट की गलती की वजह से हो जाती है. जब ये रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दो जगह से ओवरलैप होती हैं, इस तरह के कॉन्फ्लिक्ट को हम कहते हैं ओवरलैपिंग रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. नाउ फंक्शनल इंटरडिपेंडेंस, एक एग्जाम्पल लेते हैं फैक्ट्री का जहाँ पर हर एक फंक्शन दूसरे पे डिपेंडेंट है. यदि कोई भी एक चीज़ रुक गई तो आगे की फंक्शन नहीं होगी. फॉर एग्जाम्पल एक कार मैन्युफैक्चरिंग की बात करते हैं. जब तक कार की मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फैब्रिकेशन वर्क नहीं होगा, मोटर नहीं इंस्टॉल की जाती या इंजन नहीं इंस्टॉल हो सकती. अगर फैब्रिकेशन वर्क रुक गया तो मोटर नहीं इंस्टॉल होगी. तो फैब्रिकेशन वर्क के रुकने की वजह से एक दूसरे डिपार्टमेंट का भी काम रुक गया और जब तक मोटर नहीं लगेगी लाइट फिटिंग नहीं होगी बिकॉज वो चेक नहीं हो पाएंगी. तो इसी तरह से ये एक चेन बना हुआ है, फंक्शनल इंटरडिपेंडेंस. दैट मीन्स एक दूसरे से फंक्शन इंटर रिलेटेड है. कोई भी एक फंक्शन अगर हैम्पर होता है तो दूसरा डिपार्टमेंट भी हैम्पर होगा और इस वजह से कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हो सकता है क्योंकि एक डिपार्टमेंट ये चाहेगा कि आपकी गलती की वजह से मैं क्यों उसका हर्जाना भरूँ. सो दैट इज़ वॉट इज़ कॉल्ड एज फंक्शनल इंटरडिपेंडेंस. Now we'll talk about personality clashes. You must have heard about every person is different in his own personality. A personality differ from person to person. दो personality के अंदर कभी भी तालमेल नहीं हो सकता और उस तरह के clashes को हम कहते हैं personality clashes. Disagreement over the goals. This is a conflict among manager is often caused by the fact that there is a poor agreement over the goal. Because the goal of every department might be differ. Ultimately, aim is the same, but the goal might differ. So when the goal differs, they don't agree between the two different goals. So there is a disagreement over the goal because they both have different requirement. Coming to the bottleneck in the flow of work. When I talk about the bottleneck of flow of work, the line supervisor is manufacturing must meet production deadlines, but they are dependent upon the production schedule, warehousing, shipping and other effective performance. So these are nothing but the bottleneck in the flow of work. We'll move further to the conflict process. When I say conflict process, what are the process of conflict in an organization? We'll discuss over here. First is potential opposition or incompatibility. Potential opposition, when I say this stage concludes the condition that create opportunity for conflict that arise. This condition are, there can be various conditions for this potential opposition. Communication, because the communication was not given to other department. The structure, and the third is personal variable. The structure of the organization is as such, it creates a conflict. The third is personal variable, that includes personality characteristic, the person to person. Second is cognition and personalization. When I say cognition, it is nothing but a conflict is personalized when it is felt when individuals become emotionally involved. So emotion plays a major role in shaping perception. Negative emotions produce oversimplification of issue and Negative emotions will always have negative impact on the organization, and positive feeling will always increase the tendency to see potential relationship. So that is nothing but a cognition and the personalization. The third is intention. The primary conflict handling intention are represented as cooperativeness, they don't cooperate to each other. Assertive, they are never assertive. They keep on competing with each other. They are not collaborative, avoiding, accommodating, and compromising. So what happens is, third is the intention of a person we discuss. Fourth is a behavior. The behavior of a person, that is a conflict process, and the fifth one is a outcome. So it starts with a potential opposition and compatibility. It goes to cognition and personalization, and that personalization becomes the intention of a person. And when the intention is bad, it affects the behavior of the person. When he behaves arrogantly, automatically the outcome is affected. So conflict process arises from here: stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, and stage 5. We'll go further to understand conflict management approach. How does a management react to this conflict? You being a managing director, how will you react to this situation? There are primarily two types of conflict management approach. One is direct and the other is indirect approach. Let's understand one by one. Direct conflict management approach. There are 5 approaches to the direct conflict. They are based on the relative emphasis of cooperation and assertiveness in the relationship. Let's understand avoidance. It is an extreme form of intention. Everyone simply pretends that the conflict does not really exist and hope it will go. They will just assume avoid karo. Accommodation involves playing down different among the conflict. You are accommodating, you are appraising the people. You are giving what we can say in Hindi, the badhawa de dena accommodation ko. Compromise. You compromise on the situation and one party compromise on the other. Competition is created the victory that I am a more better than you. Next is command. That command whereby the formal authority simply dictates the solution that I am right because I am a senior. And last is collaboration. It involves recognition by all conflict parties that something is wrong and it needs the attention of all the parties. So direct approach is either you can avoid, or you can accommodate, or you compromise, or you create a competition, or command, or collaborate. And the next is indirect approach. When I say indirect approach, this is an approach which helps you in conflict management. That is, indirectly conflict management approach includes reduce interdependence, appeals to common goals. That means you will reduce the interdependence. When the workflow exists, you will reduce depending on one person to another so that the conflict may not arise. You will reduce their discussions. You will not link their production with one person to another so that there is no conflict. You always indirectly see that the hierarchical referral has been done and it has not been directly interacting with other person. We'll now go to the negotiation. You know the negotiation. Negotiation is a process in which two or more parties exchange goods or services and attempt to agree upon the exchange rate of them. Right? There are two general approaches to negotiation. One is distributive bargaining, integrative bargaining, and the third party negotiation. We'll understand what is distributive bargaining. When engaged in distributive bargaining, one tactic focuses on trying to get one opponent to agree to one specific target point or to get close to as possible. Hard distributive negotiation take place when each party hold out to get its own way. All are fighting to their own way, and the hard approach may lead to win-lose outcome in the party dominates the game. Right? So distributive bargainings are very hard and the soft, both type of bargaining. Hard is everybody is pushing their side, and this soft approach, soft distributing negotiation takes place when one party is willing to make concession to the other to get in over. एक पार्टी अपने आप को कॉम्प्रोमाइज करने के लिए तैयार हो जाती है दूसरे पे. दैट इज सॉफ्ट बार्गेनिंग. एंड हार्ड बार्गेनिंग इज नोबडी वांट टू बार्गेन, nobody want to compromise. Now we'll go to Integrative bargaining. This strategy is adopted to create win-win solution. इंटीग्रेट बार्गेनिंग का मतलब ये होता है कि हम सभी के मसलों को, सभी के डिमांड्स को समझ करके एक इंटीग्रेटेड यूनिवर्सल सोल्यूशन निकालते हैं, जो हम विन विन सोल्यूशन होता है, जिसमें हम भी विन होते हैं, आप भी विन हो जाते हैं. एंड द थर्ड पार्टी नेगोशिएटर. ये वो सिचुएशन आती है जहाँ पर हम नेगोशिएशन नहीं कर पाते हैं, तो हम किसी एक बिचौलिए को बुलाते हैं जो हमारे लिए एक नेगोशिएटर का काम करता है. और ये थर्ड पार्टी नेगोशिएशन कई तरीके के होते हैं जो हमारे कॉन्फ्लिक्ट को सॉल्व करते हैं. पहला है मीडिएटर. मीडिएटर का मतलब होता है ये न्यूट्रल थर्ड पर्सन होता है जो आपके लिए सोल्यूशन करके देता है. सेकेंड इज आर्बिट्रेटर. आर्बिट्रेटर इज अगेन अ थर्ड पार्टी विद द अथॉरिटी टू डिक्टेट एन एग्रीमेंट. इस व्यक्ति के पास एक एग्रीमेंट डिक्टेट करने की अथॉरिटी होती है, हम उसे अपॉइंट कर लेते हैं. थर्ड, विच इज़ वेरी कॉमन, इज अ कंसल्टेंट बिकॉज इज अ पर्सन विद अ स्किल्ड स्पेशल टाइप ऑफ स्किल्ड पर्सन. एंड द फोर्थ इज inquisitor. When I say inquisitor, the role of inquisitor involves high control over both the process and outcome of the conflict resolution. And fifth one, avoider, delegator or impetus provider. यानी कि यहाँ पर हम avoider to ignore the conflict, delegator to ask another person to delegate it, impetus के अंदर हम करते हैं delegate the conflict to the party along with the threat that if he fails to resolve it, the manager will dictate the solution. That is what the negotiation in the third party negotiation takes place. Now the negotiation process. The negotiation process starts from preparation. Prepare for the negotiation. You get all the information about the particular conflict and then you prepare yourself for the negotiation. Then evaluate the alternatives. You have the different solutions ready with you. You see which alternative would be best to perform the situation to solve this conflict. Then third step is identifying the interests. You understand the interests of each parties and then solve the conflict, make trade-off and creating a joint wins. That means you sit together with all the people, jointly, mutually, you decide and agree upon the negotiation. That is one of the process of negotiation or the conflict. Before any questions, before we go to summarization for today's topic? No? Now, before we go to summarization, the last part for this topic is issues in negotiation. What are the different issues arising in a negotiation? The role of personality traits in the negotiation. The person who is doing a trade, the role of every person differs. That means overall assessment of the personality negotiation relationship, find the personality traits have no significant direct effect. Gender difference in negotiation. Men and women do not negotiate differently. A popular stereotype is what women are more cooperative, pleasant and relationship oriented in negotiation than a man. Then culture difference in negotiation. Every culture has its effect on this personality and then hence the personality of a person differ from person to person and that is why it affects on the negotiation. Right? Now we proceed to the summary. What do you understand by the conflict? Conflict is nothing but the situation where two or more person arise at different platform and do not ready to compromise. What are the process of conflict? We just discussed the process of conflict is first is potential opposition or incompatibility, second is cognition and personalization, third is intention, then it goes to behavior and then it is outcome. Any questions, friend? No questions? All right, thank you and thank you for being a good learner and have a great career ahead. Take care. All the best.